The 24-hour series powered by Hankook is back in Europe. After an outstanding and exciting season opener in the desert of Dubai, the teams and drivers are now getting ready for the second race of the season in beautiful Tuscany at Mugello in Italy. 30 teams, 40 cars, 11 different brands and 130 drivers from 24 nations. That makes for a colourful grid here at the 12 Hours of Mugello. The cars are split into two divisions, GT and TCE, 10 different classes within those two divisions. So there'll be a lot of traffic here at the L'autodromo Internazionale di Mugello. Endurance racing has its own pace. It's not just about top speed and horsepower, it's all about the overall package. Endurance, reliability, strategy, patience, and above all, full concentration at all times. These are the factors that determine victory or defeat in a 12-hour race.
You do the fastest lap, doesn't matter. The one who finishes first is the one who wins. So it's about tire management, it's about being smart with code 60s, it's about how much petrol you have and when to fill it up. It's the fast driver changes. It's a team driver combination which wins you the race. And that the car works. So it's more than just a sprint race, which is 40 minutes or 50 minutes of going very fast. It's more intelligent.
Mugello is one of Italy's classic circuits. It's tucked away in the rolling hills of the Tuscany region and beloved by motorsport enthusiasts all around the globe. 5¼ kilometres or 3¼ miles, a compact layout that looks a little bit like an elongated capital J. It's set in a valley, there's several elevation changes and it makes it a favourite track for both spectators and drivers.
I think Mugello is one of the best circuits. It's old school, there's a lot of elevation. Yeah, I really like it.
12 Hours of Mugello is one of our favorite races. I mean, everyone likes 24 hours, but the 12 hour is great also. So we like running the 12 hours at Mugello. We love the town, Scarperia. It's a great place to be and come and enjoy ourselves. The track is not only historic, but it's a lot of fun to drive. So this is always one of our favorite events. It's the kind of place you would take your family, and so it's kind of a fun place for us to all come together and race.
So it's very smooth with different heights in it, with quite difficult corners. It's a technical track. It's the weather, because we're in Italy.
It's really a difficult track, it's a technical track, and this extra thing that you have to watch your tires makes it not boring at all.
It's amazing. Mugello, it's really amazing. You don't have really one second to rest in every lap, so it's one of the best circuits in the world.
So let's take a closer look at the track which everyone is going to be tackling. It was built in 1974, so almost 50 years ago, and still classified as an FIA Grade 1 circuit. Formula 1 Grand Prix was here at this little hidden gem in the middle of Tuscany last year. Over 5.2 kilometres in total, it's quite a long course. The start-finish line is one of the longest in European motorsport and brings you to Turn 1 San Donato at nearly 270 kilometres or 170 miles per hour. It's a tight right-hand hairpin to kick things off, and you're down all the way to 90 kilometres an hour. Now through the twists and turns of the first sequence of corners, Lucco and Poggio Secco. Turn 4, Materazzi, the left-hander, highest part of the circuit, and from here the drivers dip down and it's a real drop through Borgio, Casanova and Savelli. The lowest point on the track, the famous Arrabbiatas at turn 8 and 9. That should require no introduction. The double right-hander, so rewarding when you get it right, but you're fighting the car, and that uphill gradient at the back of the grandstand through turn 10, Scarperia, named after the nearby town. Pelagio is the left-hander at turn 11 and is followed by a tricky right-hand hairpin, Correntiao. Again, it drops away here. Now through the insanely quick Biondetti chicane. Drivers pulling through the gears of their GT3s and heading towards Bushin, the final of the 15 corners. Lap times around 2 minutes, and anyone who gets below that has done a really, really good job here at the Autodromo Internazionale di Mugello. Time for qualifying. The session is divided into 3 parts of 10 minutes each. 3 drivers per team push their cars to the limit to try and get their fastest lap time on the track. The best lap per driver counts, and the team with the fastest average lap time is rewarded with pole position. So the order of the drivers should be strategic, but that's not the case for all teams.
We put our name in the hat and then we just pick out the name, so it's not very difficult. Yeah.
Despite the randomness of their driver rotation, the 159 is the fastest car in the TCE division. They took a fully deserved victory at the season's first race in Dubai, and the all-Thai team from BBR in their Cupra Leon competition prove once again their ambitions are to capture the overall title. They capture the best time in all 3 sessions, so it's not too difficult to work out which team has the best average lap time.
Very happy with the P1, and the team give a perfect car for me to do the perfect lap. So yeah, I have to say thank you to the team, and also my teammate. Yeah, they did a very good job. I can't wait to race tomorrow. So I think I try to keep the position until the end.
Second in TCR, the number 104, the Knocker Racing team with their Volkswagen Golf GTI. Very experienced, and we need to keep an eye on them. And third in the TCR, an Audi RS2 LMS, the number 116 from Wolf Power Racing. Now it's time for GT3. Fourth in the top class, number 91 of the well-known team Herbert Motorsport in their Porsche 911. Just like in Dubai in the first race of the season, the overall winner of the 24H Series 2021 is on the 2nd row. The dazzling yellow Mercedes AMG GT3 of man-filter team Landgraf literally catches the eye. And a real motorsport hero is on a mission with the yellow Mamba Mania. Despite some difficulties at the track, 5-time DTM champion Bernd Schneider, together with his teammates, take 3rd in GT3.
A lot of traffic. We tried to get coming out earlier of pit lane, but even in my first lap, I catch already on an unlucky place some traffic. And I had to delete my fastest lap so far. I have no idea why, because in my opinion, I have been on track with 2 tires all the time, but we will check that.
The rainbow-coloured car is brand new to Mugello after their first outing with the BMW M4 GT3 during the 24 Hours of Dubai. ST Racing are looking forward to their 2nd run with the new car. It seems Canadian Samantha Tan and her colleagues know how to handle the BM. They've put down 3 lap times, all under 1 minute 50, and they've finished the qualifying session in 2nd position.
Overall, car is amazing. Can't thank the team enough for giving us such a competitive car. This is everybody's first time here at Mugello in this car. We've had very limited testing, but overall we've showed a lot of great pace, so really looking forward to this weekend.
Also managing to keep their best lap times under 1 minute 50, the black and yellow German Phoenix Racing team with the Audi RA LMS GT3, the number 18. Former DTM driver and winner of the 24 Hours of the Nürburgring 2019, Pierre Caffer, put the overall fastest lap down, a 1:47.337. So, pole position for Phoenix Racing.
I'm really happy that we achieved this pole position. Last year it was pretty close, and I have to say for me it's a nice comeback after my accident at Nürburgring where I broke my back. So I feel really confident, and thanks to my whole crew, my whole team. We are here since Sunday. We had a nice setup, and that it works out like this. You never can plan this, but this time the luck was on our side. Qualifying is one thing, so let's keep fingers crossed for tomorrow.
In the 992 Pro class, it's Team HRT Performance with their number 929, on top with their 911 GT3 Cup car. In 992 AM, pole sitter is the 903 from Red Ant Racing. The number 955 Team Vili Motorsports by EB Motors secures pole position in the 991 class. In GTX, the fastest lap goes to Team RD Sainz in the only Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo on the grid. It's the first of 2 race days. Here's the trophies that are on offer. This race could set the trend for the season, especially for the teams who are doing the whole series. For them, it's not just about winning the day, but gaining points for the overall championship. A good result here in Mugello is definitely the basis for another successful season. However, if you make the wrong decision or make any avoidable mistakes, dreams can be burst very quickly. Weeks, even months of work can be gone in a jiffy. As an example, the pole-sitting car experienced a moment of shock on the way to the grid. A lot of smoke coming from the back of the car.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't know what happened as well. I just have seen some smoke on the right side of the car. And then my guys told me we have a small issue on the car, but what it is exactly, I have no idea. But I'm pretty sure my boys can fix that. And the car is in a good condition. For me, it's just a dream, and come back and be on pole. It's really nice, and we all my teammates and the whole Phoenix Racing group, they have done a fantastic job, and I'm really looking forward to the race.
Another team looking forward to the race, Team Bodar by Baskooten Racing, with a brand new race car, a Bentley Continental GT3. It's a real beast.
It's a challenge to have the car here. Of course, it's an English castle. When it crosses over another car, everyone is in the shadow. It's a big one, so it's a challenge to be here. But it's a proper GT3, and every time we run the car, we're more happy and happy. So I hope tomorrow at the afternoon, we will be the most happy of the weekend.
But it's not just the teams at the front of the grid who are confident and eagerly awaiting the green lights.
Yeah, couldn't be better. We're on a pole position in our class. That was better than expected. And the balance of the car, for us, it's a little bit searching for a good balance with the Hankook tires. First time we drive this car with this type of tire. So not quite 100% what we want to do, but we're getting close.
So let's take a look at the starting grid. Pole sitter Phoenix Racing and ST Racing on the front row. Behind them on row 2, Manfilter Team Landgraf and Herbert Motorsport in 5th and 6th. On the third row, Kessel Racing and Earl Bamber Motorsport. And on row 4, CP Racing and Bodar by Baskooten Racing. Hallfield now on the start-finish straight, ready to go to full throttle. Green flag being waved, red lights are off. And the 12 Hours of Mugello 2022 are underway for the 8th time. A near 50-50 split in terms of duration between the two parts of the race. Nick Whitmer on the right-hand side in the number 1 car wants the race lead, goes around the outside of Pierre Caffer. Pierre Caffer's been around the block a few times. He's at the moment fending off the big BMW M4 GT3. Can't hold it back to the left-hander at Luco. So already the BMW from ST Racing has snatched the race lead in the opening couple of corners. Herbert Motorsport in the Porsche started 4th but are up to 3rd, ahead of the bright yellow Mercedes AMG of Martin Conrad of Manfilter Team Landgraf. Everybody else funneling through. A clean start so far. Herbert Motorsport with the black Porsche 911 GT3 are settling down in 3rd position ahead of the Manfilter AMG Mercedes. That's the number 25. Marco Frezza in the black Ferrari of Kessel Motorsport, the number 8 charging. Having a look at Martin Conrad in the yellow Mercedes, but the German holding his position. On board with Marco Frezza, very close to Martin Conrad. It's no secret, of course, that an endurance race is seldom won in the first couple of laps. We're looking at somewhere over 320 laps before the checkered flag, an incredibly long way to go for the drivers and the teams. All endurance fans know one true phrase. If you want to finish first you have to finish. This is going to be a tough race, hard on the cars and hard on the drivers. Constant changes of direction. A lot of these tight but fast corners are putting heavy G-forces on the drivers. It's going to be long, mentally and physically demanding in this race. There's a little bit of respite for the drivers when they go past the pits at high speed on that long start-finish straight. ST Racing and Phoenix Racing pulling away a little from the pack. Behind those two leaders, there's quite a battle developing. Herbeth Motorsport in third. Manfilter Team Landgraf in fourth. Kessel Racing in fifth. Earl Bamber Motorsport in sixth position. The American CP Racing Team in seventh. MP Racing, the South Tyrolean Gustner family in eighth. Jutta Racing in ninth. And Baudard by Baskooten Racing with their Bentley Continental GT3 rounding out the top 10 after the first few laps. The brand new BMW of ST Racing seems to be set up perfectly for Mugello as Nick Whitmer is able to increase the gap back to Pierre Caffer, already starting to lap the cars at the back of the field. But the BMW not just quick round the corners, the car has incredible top speed on the straights as well. Further back in the field, all the other drivers charging hard for positions. Rick Breukers of Team Red Camel Jordan.nl has an unusual battle that he's fighting. He's sitting behind a GT3 class car, which should be a little faster than his Porsche, but in the corners, he's gaining time. On the straights, the Audi R8 of Santalok Racing benefits from more horsepower under its hood. Nevertheless, this is showing the huge talent and driving skills that the 23-year-old Dutch driver has gained through his short career. Whether it's the 24H Series or Lamborghini Super Trofeo, he's had several victories and podiums under his belt already. 30 minutes after the start of the first Code 60 is for the number 703 Vortex with obvious problems. In the 24H Series, Code 60s are like a virtual safety car. A 60-kilometre speed limit is enforced around the track to make for a safe environment for the marshals to get into action and deal with the recovery of any stranded cars. No overtaking allowed, but the pits stay open. So, a great option for the teams to come into the pits now for fuel and new Hankook tyres. Picking the right fuel strategy is crucial in a 12-hour race. During a Code 60, you can only put in 50% of your normal fuel allowance. Now, it gets crowded in the fuel area, so you've got to come in at the right time when there's a fuel pump available. For the French Vortex V8 team, this is an awful start to the race. They'll want to forget it as quickly as possible. The Code 60 has mixed the rankings up a little bit. Some teams in the pits, some staying out. Team BBR, the number 159 pole sitter in the TCR class. Decent race so far. They have pitted. They're down in third behind the Noka Racing team and the Wolf Power Racing team. Back to green for a few minutes and we're back to Code 60. Two cars in the gravel. 331 and the number 34. They can't get out of the deep gravel bed. That's what the marshals are for. They recover the cars so that they can get back in the race, and it's not completely over just because of a small driving error. Herbeth Motorsport team and their Porsche, they've not had decent luck either. A punctured left rear tyre has cost the German team valuable time and some class positions. Back on the track, Robert Renard is pushing hard to get back in the game. Speed and setup of the car is good, so he should get some positions back in this stint. Still more than 10 hours racing to go, so it's not over yet. Kessel Motorsport into the pits from the lead. Marco Freser has done a great job in the Ferrari 488 GT3. 34 flawless laps and hands over the car to David Fumanelli. P1, of course, has now gone. Another Code 60, and it's worked perfectly for ST Racing. They've just got back into the lead from the Italian squad of Kessel Motorsport, and they come into the fueling area just seconds before the Code 60 is thrown. That means they can fill up with full allowance. Sometimes luck is part of a successful long-distance race. A whole new top three then, with the number 61 Earl Bamber Motorsport leading from the 25-man filter team Landgraf in second, and in third, Baudard by Baskooten Racing in the number 6 Bentley Continental. The New Zealand team's lead last 9 laps only. They're back in the pits, damage at the rear of the car, and the mechanics are feverishly trying to troubleshoot the issue. Just 1 lap later, bad luck hitting the beast, the Bentley Continental GT3. It was in second position when it went off the track and hit the tyre wall. That brings out the 4th Code 60 in just less than 2 hours of racing and means more heavy work for the marshals.
A sensor that quit working, and so no ABS, not enough brake pressure to get to the corner. So I went off slowly into the gravel, and the contact with the barrier was, I think, 20 kilometers an hour. So it didn't cause a lot of damage, but the failure is still there in the car. They changed the sensor, but it seems like something else. So Marcel is now in the car trying to make the best of it. And next pit stop, they try to fix it. It's the first time, so it's a good car. It's easy to drive and it's well maintained. It's a nice circuit. So then it's especially a pity something small like this happens, but it's still 10 hours. And as you can see on the track, a lot of things happening.
It's exactly like that. On the track, every second is still being fought for, and after many positional changes due to the first pit stops at Code 60s, a leading group is, however, emerging. Martin Conrad still behind the wheel in the Manfilter Team Landgraf Mercedes AMG. He does his laps confidently and has been in the lead now for quite some time. One lap behind, another AMG GT3 team, CP Racing with their number 85. Slowly but surely, the American team has worked its way up the field. And in third position, the pole sitters, Phoenix Racing, currently with Elliot Earhart at the wheel. He and his teammates have kept away from any major trouble so far and are less than 1 second behind CP. But the race has another 10 hours to go. Let's have a closer look at Team CP Racing from the USA in their white and blue Mercedes AMG GT3. They're what you would call old acquaintances of the Hankook 24H series, organised by Creventic.
Well, hello, I'm Charlie Putman with CP Racing. I've been driving in Creventic for several years, and I just found out 45 races now at this point.
After winning their category in the first race of the season in Dubai, the gentlemen from the USA are certainly on a mission here in Mugello. Team Herbeth Motorsport certainly are used to winning, but they're making life rather difficult for themselves. Sitting in second position, Robert Renard gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That's valuable time lost at this stage of the race. That time now needs to be regained on the track. Not just the German team Porsche that's struggling. 61 Earl Bamber Motorsport has had a difficult weekend as well. They're back in the pits again. Still a problem at the back of the car.
Yeah, I think we're 2 or 3 laps down now, unfortunately. We had a good first stint, and it looks like the floors may be disconnected from the bumper. So the boys are onto it, fixing it up. So hopefully we can get back in the race over the afternoon and put ourselves in a good position for tomorrow.
After a few minutes in the pits, the car's back on track. Hopefully the last mechanical failure for them, this unscheduled stop, has thrown them way down to 24th position. Oh no, it's more drama for Team Herbeth Motorsport. Look, certainly not on their side this weekend. They've clashed with Team SK Racing's Ligier JS2R and they're in the gravel bed. We didn't quite see how the crash happened, but the Porsche certainly has to come back to the pits for inspection.
Yeah, I mean, it's since the beginning of the weekend. We're missing some equipment still from Dubai, so we need to put everything together from other teams. So it was a tough preparation as well with building up the complete new car. So in the end, we try to do our best, try to get back to our regular performance, and cross finger that we get a better day tomorrow.
At the front of the field and staying out of trouble, ST Racing and their rainbow-coloured BMW. ST is Samantha Tan, and she's behind the wheel right now. Manfilter Team Landgraf are in the right rhythm now as well, with motorsport legend Bernd Schneider behind the wheel, and he's gaining time on the cars in front of him. His huge experience has brought the car up to second, but Sven Herberger of Team Phoenix is sitting right behind him. This is going to be a tough battle in the next few hours. Herbeth Motorsport in the gravel again, this time after a collision with the 702 French Vortex V8. This means another Code 60. Both teams with no luck today, the French in particular with several off-track incidents and unwanted pit stops. Here comes the strategy call during Code 60s. Refueling and pit stops, Manfilter Team Landgraf and Phoenix Racing in. Samantha Tan is in the pit lane in the BMW, but does not refuel. That's going to give her a comfortable lead of almost a full lap. 4 of 12 hours complete. Here's how it stands. The Canadian ST Racing team leads the GT division ahead of the 2 German teams. That's Phoenix Racing and Manfilter Team Landgraf. Red Camel Jordan NL rounding off the top 8. In TCE, it's BBR ahead of Holmgard Motorsport and Wolf Power Racing. With a third of the race now complete, there's a little bit of a routine settling in now. Avoidable and unavoidable spins or collisions on the track, code 60s, battle for positions, flawless pit stops and quick refueling, fast driver changes, masterly fixing of minor or major damages and failures, and especially lap after lap at full speed with full concentration. And the real fun of an endurance race has really just started. 8 more hours still to come. Everything and anything could still happen, and that's the fascination of the Hankook 24-hour series. Dusk slowly settling in over the hills of Tuscany. Light beginning to fade, but that's no problem for Samantha Tan in the BMW M4 GT3 of ST Racing. The driver and the car are lapping like clockwork, and the team has been leading more than 40 laps now, everything going according to their plan. Man-Filter Team Landgraf following them a lap behind now in second position with Martin Conrad back in the car, and he's trying to do the same lap times and the same job as Bernd Schneider did before him. Hot on their heels and still less than a second behind the yellow Mamba is Elliot Earhart in the Audi of Phoenix Racing. Hard fights for position across all the classes still going on. Red Camel Jordan.nl in the 911 GT3 Cup, still leading the 992 class. The 992 AM class is being dominated by the Belgians of Team Red Ant Racing in their number 903. Leader in GTX, the Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo of the Lithuanian RD Science Racing Team in their number 720. They're doing a really impressive job so far. Another superb race for the Thai Team BBR in the number 159. No failures, no mistakes, first position in TCR. The Swiss Orchid Racing Team in the turquoise Porsche 718 Cayman GT4 has stayed away from any big trouble and leads the GT4 class. The number 205 of Team Veluga had an early puncture, but they've fought their way back to the top of the TCX category. 45 minutes before the finish of the first day, and overall leader Samantha Tam of Team ST Racing is in for a final pit stop and hands the car over to Nick Whitmer. He started the race today and will finish it as well.
The team deals with all the strategy. I think it was because we were under code 60. You know, we try to fuel as much as we can under that time to lose less time on green, so it's good. Everybody's super respectful of each other. I mean, as Nick said earlier, I mean, the lower classes like TC, they're very aware of when we're coming by and just, you know, give them a little flash, and yeah, everybody's just been super respectful, so good job to everybody out there.
Team Phoenix also coming in to refuel and pit for the last time this Saturday. Elliot Earhart has regained second place after a long 47-lap stint. He's handed the car over to Sven Herberger for the last 25 minutes of the day. If you're wondering, the yellow high-vis vests are worn by the pit crew and only they are allowed to work on the car. The green bibs offer driver assistance. Pierre Caffer supporting his teammate, helping him into the car here. 5.5 hours are complete. The first day of racing comes to an end, and ST Racing finishes the Saturday session in first position, having clocked up 147 laps.
Yeah, well, it was quite an exciting start, I have to say. When we have seen there were some flames coming out, we had a fuel issue, what we found out. But luckily the car wasn't damaged, which was pretty good, and my start was good. The fight with the BMW was pretty nice, and then we tried to organize the strategy. We had one puncher, I have to say, but in the end we are quite happy. Our target was to stay in the lead lap. And tomorrow, with 6 hours 30 to go, it's a long race still coming up tomorrow.
At the break in racing, the gap was 1 minute and 9 seconds from ST Racing ahead of Man-Filter Team Landgraf in second, and a further 1.5 seconds back, Phoenix Racing in third. Jutta Racing in fourth have a gap of 2 laps to the leading trio. In fifth, the Italian Squadra Azzurra of Kessel Racing. CP Racing are in sixth. MP Racing are in 7th position, and Herberth Motorsport already back on the first page of the leaderboard in 8th. Any time gaps between teams on the same lap are closed up at the restart, so for the first 3 teams, they'll start literally from 0 tomorrow. The TCE division has been truly dominated by BBR in first position. Holmgard Motorsport a second, Wolf Power Racing a third. The sun sets on the Italian mountains, and with the night, silence is setting in at l'Autodromo Internazionale di Mugello. The cars are parked up, quite lonely looking, aren't they, on the start-finish straight. That serves as the parc fermé now, but tomorrow morning, the engines will fire again. Buongiorno, we're back for the final day of the Hankook 12 Hours of Mugello, 6.5 hours of top-notch racing ahead of us. Cars had a chilly overnight rest here, just around about 3 to 4 degrees Celsius.
I feel a little bit my body because I had 1 hour 15 yesterday in the car. I really enjoyed the fights on track, and was really a good day for us. Finished second in the first half of the race, so we are really happy so far. But this morning will be difficult. It was 3 degrees. The tires are pretty cold. Only one up lap for Martin. He's in the car now, so the first laps will be pretty tricky.
You're not allowed to work on the cars overnight, and you're not allowed to refuel either. If any team breaks the rule, they'll get a 10-lap penalty. Team Car Collection have had to bring their car to the pits before the restart. They discovered a puncture on the right front tyre. Obviously got a flat spot sometime towards the end of yesterday's part of the race. Overnight, the tyre had deflated slowly and needs to be changed now, so that means they'll have to start from the pit lane. All ready for the restart of the race, and everybody geared up for another 6.5 hours of full throttle excitement. At the front of the field, the top 3 are on the same lap. 4th, 5th and 6th already 2 laps down. It will be Nick Wittmer and Martin Conrad on the front row. ST Racing alongside Manfilter for Team Landgraf. BMW versus Mercedes. For the second time this weekend, the Hankook 12 Hours at Mugello is green. A really good start for the 2 leading cars, ST Racing and Manfilter Team Landgraf. But it's a bad start for Sven Herberger for Phoenix Racing. He loses precious ground in the leaders as 7 other cars have gone by. ST Racing with Nick Wittmer hugging the inside line through the right-hander at San Donato and defending the race lead just ahead of Martin Conrad in the yellow Mercedes AMG. The Ferrari of Kessel Racing is squeezed in between. David Fuminelli is not on the same lap as the leaders, but that is a welcome buffer for Nick Wittmer in this early stage after the restart. It doesn't matter which classes we are looking at, there is fighting going on right through the field. David Fuminelli in the black Ferrari of Kessel Racing is charging hard to get past the leader Nick Wittmer and get a lap back. He must have a long game in mind though. I wonder if it might be better for Wittmer to let Fuminelli pass and stay away from any unnecessary battles. Second lap after the restart, some of the teams into the pits to refuel, including the leader, ST Racing. Now, is this the right strategy? Nick Wittmer rejoins the race in 3rd place. That's put the American CP Racing team into 2nd position. Charles Esplanade has benefited from his tremendous experience and has had a very good restart. They'll be looking for a podium in their GT3 AM class.
I think the restart was okay, everybody was patient, but the tire was really cold, but for everybody, and compliment to all drivers, they take down the risk and survive the first lap.
After the scheduled pit stop of CP Racing, Manfilter Team Landgraf are back into 2nd position, and they're hunting down the overall leader, ST Racing. Team BBR in the Cupra Leon competition, the number 159. Really looking on the bright side. It's been a copybook race for the 4 Thai drivers so far. They've got 3 laps between them and their nearest competition. The race is more challenging for the number 61 Team Earl Bamber Motorsport. They've had some mechanical issues on day 1 and they're down a bit even on their own expectations. Currently 10th position overall, 4 laps down.
Earlier on in the race we had a bit of an issue with the floor, but we managed to repair it. We lost about 4 laps from that, and we've still got that 4-lap gap. So like I said, the pace has been there, and now we're just trying to slowly work our way back up. And you know, we've still got 5 hours to go, so there's a lot of racing still to be had. The pace is pretty you know, hectic out there and very fast, so let's see where we are this afternoon.
Quite usual in endurance racing, the longer the race goes on, the more likelihood there is for drama. Tiny technical failures can mean the end of it all in these high-tech racing cars. Team RD Signs from Lithuania is experiencing exactly that. On their outlap, after a routine pit stop, there's something not working properly with their Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo. The car is stuck in first gear. An obvious problem, but difficult for the mechanics to fix.
Yeah, something in gearbox, not mechanical, but it looks like electronical issues. So when I'm driving, end of the stint, I feel that doesn't want to change the gear. So now the team's searching, looking, and I hope so it's a small problem.
This issue has cost them the lead in the GTX class. Two leading teams hit trouble. Team BBR, the number 159, and then just afterwards, Phoenix Racing with the number 18 are off track at the same corner. And even Bernd Schneider with the Manfilter Team Landgraf yellow Mercedes has slipped into the gravel. What's going on here? Fortunately for Bernd, he doesn't get stuck and continues the battle for the podium. This could have been the effective end of the race for these top teams. Here's the reason for those cars going into the gravel. The Porsche of Orchid Racing has an engine or gearbox failure and is losing oil. Oil and tarmac, oof, that's a major threat for racers, especially at a breaking point right before a hairpin. Code 60 number 2. Without the hard-working men and women in orange around the track, the race couldn't continue now. But with the special chemicals, they clean up the track as quickly as possible, and the race can go green again. The 12 hours of Mugello has seen lots of great racing action so far. 2/3 of the race done and dusted. Let's have a quick look at the standings after 8 hours. In GT, still ST Racing in the lead. Manfilter Team Landgraf behind them in second. CP Racing in third. And the top 3 in TCE, Team BBR, Wolf Power Racing, and the Nooker Racing Team. A never-ending tale of war for Team Vortex V8. They entered the TCR class with 3 cars. Feels like they are more off-track or in the pits than on the circuit. Definitely a weekend to forget for the ambitious team from France. At the front end of the field, Bernd Schneider is trying everything to gain ground on the leaders. However, his lap times are no better than young American Bryson Morris. That's interesting to see. Such a young gun, keeping the pace with a former multiple DTM champion. Nice work.
I saw the oil flags a bit late. And at the moment was already on braking, and if you brake after 100 meters, it's difficult. I'm happy not crashing into the barriers, and I'm happy to stuck not in the gravel bed. So in the end, we did not lose much.
This weekend, it seems bad luck is haunting the same teams over and over again. The number 61 Team Earl Bamber Motorsport has had an accident. Doesn't look too bad on first look, but the car has suffered severe damage underneath. This time it's recovered for the last time by the hard-working marshals, and the race is over for the likeable Kiwi team. And the problems haven't stopped for Team Herbeth Motorsport either. After a day to forget yesterday, they've chosen today as a test day for the coming racing this season. Last year's overall winners will not have anything to do with the sharp end of the field, and therefore they've parked their car in the pit lane after 227 laps.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work for us this weekend. Yeah, we have still issues with the gearbox or with some parts of the gearbox, so try to sort this out for next weekend for the GT World Challenge. Yeah, it's a mess this weekend, so in the end, forget everything, try to get a new start next weekend. It's all good.
For ST Racing in the lead, all the trouble is in their rear view mirror. Samantha Tam in the car for the first time today, staying absolutely focused, keeping the rhythm, everything running perfectly for them so far. Only a bit more than 2 hours and the victory could be theirs. All just about perfect too for the Red Camel Jordans.nl team, the Breukers family in their Porsche GT3 Cup. They're in the overall top 10, they're leading the 992 class, and really nothing to complain about there. Ivo Breukers and his 2 sons, Rick and Luke, are certainly becoming a very formidable team, maybe, or because of the fact that they are a motorsport crazy family.
We love racing as a family, and at home at the dinner table we always talk about racing, and I have another daughter, and sometimes it's a little bit too much for her, always about racing, and I say okay, we stop talking about racing, but yeah, 2 minutes later again. We are here with a group of friends. We do this already for maybe 20 years. And we grew up from the Seat diesel class up to a Porsche, and it's great to do it together with your sons, with a group of friends. It's a family affair.
It really feels like a family outing, especially when my mother and my sister's there, just a full family, and there's a nice race weekend. Mostly in Barcelona that happens, and it's always a blast.
So the Breakers only have to bring it home for a victory, but the other top teams are fighting for overall positions. There's a bitter duel between Manfilter Team Landgraf and the yellow Mercedes AMG and the black Audi R8 of Phoenix Racing. Just an hour before the end of the race, 280 laps completed, just a few seconds separating the two teams. Sven Herberger of Phoenix Racing into the pits. Alexander Harachvina in the Manfilter Team Landgraf Mercedes is staying out to do more laps. Now, who's got the best strategy for the run to the checkered flag?
It's getting towards the end. You can feel that pressure everyone has, so the fights are getting tricky, so yeah, but it's good. I think we had the one or the other point of luck with just code 60s coming in when we were towards the end of the track, so this went a bit on our side, but as I said, at the end, right now I think we have the joker with Pierre, and let's see what's in there then.
Alexander Ratravina is coming into the pits for the final driver change. Now, will they get back on track in front of Pierre Caffer? He's putting down one fast lap after another on the tarmac. As Sven Heiberger has just told us, Pierre Caffer is their final card, and now they have to go all in. ST Racing taking their final pit stop and a driver change as well. They've got a comfortable lead still. Victory not that far away. Nick Whitmer takes over from Samantha Tan.
Yes, it was very good. Again, kept it clean as we have all race, and keeping it up top. And now Nick's in the car for the final hour. Hopefully bring it back P1.
In the final phase of the race, it's absolutely clear that many of these precious race cars have suffered. Meters of tape or cable ties have been used to keep the cars together. Just a few more laps to go now. Time to persevere and see the checkered flag. The three cars of Team Vortex V8 have suffered particularly badly during the race. Countless times they've been involved in minor offs and major collisions. The entire team have put in 2 days of incredibly hard work to get the cars back on track again and again. The newly introduced Spirit of the Race Award is a reward for the team for all their efforts and hardship, and above all, for the unbreakable will not to give up. This is endurance.
This one is for the whole Vortex team. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What does this mean to the team?
Yes, it's a good work compound because we have a very, very hard job this weekend. 3 cars, 2 crash, and we repair all the car, and all the car will finish the race. It's good for us.
Meanwhile, the battle for second and third is still raging. Phoenix Racing had to come back in for a final refuel. That means Manfilter Team Landgraf is in second place for now. But the lap times of Pierre Caffer in the black Phoenix Racing Audi are insane. Lap by lap, he's pushing himself closer to the yellow Mamba. He's taking 5 seconds per lap out of the second place car. And it doesn't take long for him to appear in Martin Conrad's rearview mirror. The final showdown has begun. Conrad is giving everything to keep Pierre Caffer at a distance. Caffer benefiting from the slipstream from the Mercedes. And here it is at the end of the long start-finish straight. Caffer out of the slipstream and overtakes Martin Conrad on the inside. Can Martin fight back? In most classes, the places are decided shortly before the end of the race. All that's left for everyone now is to arrive at the checkered flag and bring home a victory or the podium finish. 5th position overall and cruising in 1st position in the GT3 class. It's Team Jutta Racing. They had some tough times during the race, but fought their way back into the lead. 2nd overall, the proud Italians of Kessel Racing with their Ferrari. 4 laps behind the eventual winner. Third place, Earl Bamber Motorsport, didn't finish the race on track but completed enough laps to be classified on the podium. What a race for the American CP Racing team. After a fabulous victory in Dubai, they've finished second in the GT3 AM class. Precious points here for the overall series ranking. Third position in GT3 AM goes to MP Racing, number 58. GTX HRT Performance in the Porsche 911 GT3 Cup won the category with a 2-lap advantage over the RD Sainz Lamborghini Huracan Super Trofeo, which had problems during the race. Third place, Team Vortex V8. A really tough 12 hours for Team Vortex. Here's the family and friends affair of Ivo, Rick and Luc Broikers. An incredible race for the Dutch Red Camel Jordans.nl team. They win the 992 class over a minute and a half ahead of HRT Performance in second. The 903 of Team Red Ant Racing retains the lead and wins the 992 AM class. That's after their second place in Dubai. Second in the 992 AM class, the Orchid Racing team, number 917, ahead of the second Red Ant Racing team in third. In GT4, the team with the longest name has won. Congratulations, and take a deep breath, to Team ACP Tangerine Associates by Videc JJ Motorsport. In the TCX class, it's team number 215, the SK Racing Ligier JS2R, who claims the victory. Last but by no means least, first place in TCR is claimed by the number 332, Hoffer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. But at the front of the field, it's all about ST Racing. Nick Whitmer on the last corners and will be the one to finish this outstanding race in the top position. And here it comes, the checkered flag for the winners of the Hankook 12 Hours of Mugello. Team ST Racing with Nick Whitmer, Bryson Morris and Samantha Tam. 330 grueling laps behind them and a well-deserved victory with a 2-lap lead at the flag. 245 laps led, no doubt about their performance. In second, the pole sitters, Phoenix Racing. At the end of the race, they had a great battle with the man-filter team Landgraf Mercedes AMG for second, but they've managed to hold on by just 1.4 seconds. What a finish. The top 3 teams into Parc Fermé, and after such a long, energy-sapping race, the joy of victory is overwhelming.
Oh, so much, especially for a little Canadian team. Thank you to everybody. BMW Motorsport, Motul, everybody on this team. Again, phenomenal job.
Yeah, I'm just very grateful for everyone here that supported me and let me join the race. You know, I'm pretty new to the team, so thanks to everyone at the team.
First win for us in GT3, our second event in a GT3 car. Can't say anything better about this BMW. It gave it all what we needed today and yesterday. It held up together, A1. We got the car. All what we wanted to do out there is do this, and the car gave us what we wanted.
In TCE, it's once again the all-tie team BBR. A brilliant race run from them. They win the 12 Hours of Mugello with a 3-lap gap from Noka Racing team in the Volkswagen Golf GTI TCR number 104. Third position, Wolf Power Racing. The team has given Yasmin Preissig the honour of bringing the RS3 LMS to the finish.
We worked really hard for this weekend. The team really gave us like the perfect car for the whole weekend. Also, like they really spot on every pit stop, every like tactic and everything was spot on. So like for me as a driver, just like to make sure the car finished the race today.
And the winners of the 2022 Mugello 12 Hours, ST Racing BMW number 1, Samantha Tan, Bryson Morris and Nick Whitmer. Lift your trophies high, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. And now, the champagne! It's the number 159 BBR Seat of Taria Nuya Kandadi, Kanazak Kazuri, and Tanar Sathian Kidirika. Raise those trophies high in the air. Our TCE podium overall and TCR classes. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the champagne!
So here are the final rankings at the Hankook 12 Hours of Mugello. ST Racing, the overall winner ahead of Phoenix and Man Filter Team Landgraf. 4th place, CP Racing. Jutta in 5th, who wins the GT3 class. In 6th, MP Racing from South Tyrol in Italy. Red Camel Jordan.nl, a fantastic 7th place overall and victory in the 992 class. Kessel Racing from Italy rounds up the top 8. The 12 Hours of Mugello is completed. Once again, a spectacular Hankook 24-hour series organised by the Dutch promoter Creventic. Outstanding race action, deserved winners. For the manufacturers, the German dominance of this event continues. Just one Ferrari in between Audi, Mercedes and Porsche in the top 15 overall. What an incredible second event for the International Endurance Series. Next, we're at the famous Ardennes roller coaster at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. On behalf of the whole team, I'm John Hindorf. We'll see you there.
Goodbye from Mugello. We will see you next time. Spa in Belgium as well. We're going next.